This is Jonathan over with a screencast for the PCAD summer class. There were a few other questions that were brought to my attention regarding um, just Google Fonts and then the ability to add some padding around some images. So what I'm going to first do is show you Google Fonts. If you go to fonts.google.com, here when you visit this page, you will get Google Fonts interface. You have the ability, if you want, this is loading really slow, give me 1 second. Alright, so Google Fonts loads, and you have some examples right off the bat of all the Google Fonts that you have available. Now Google Fonts is nice because adding these to your web page means that that font will show for everyone, and it's not just limiting you to system fonts. So one of the things I like to do is maybe here I'm going to grab, here's the story about Type Anything, and in my Google font I can actually paste that in. Not sure why that grabbed that. So here's the story. Apply to all, and it's going to add that text, so I get to see what this font is really going to look like. I can go through and minimize some of the options here. So if I want to, serif font for my headlines, I can do that. I can then look for something that's thicker, maybe. Checking that on and then moving that over. Something maybe that's a little bit wider, and really narrow down my font selection. So let's say we've found a font that we like. Let's just say we like this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and go see specimen. I can see all the details of this font, and just some of the different, great font pairings. Google goes ahead and does that as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this font, and it's going to add this little tray down here. Now I can expand that tray. You can see I've got the Volcorn font. I can embed the font. I can customize the font if I want. Right now it's showing me that its load time is going to be fast because we're just loading the font family in. Now I can customize that if I want to make sure that I've got the bold and italic. You'll see the load time starts to be strained a little bit, but honestly, like fonts, they don't strain things too much, and plus because it's loaded in the header, it's loaded once and then it's cached, so it's really not that bad. So once we have our customizations, we're going to go ahead and embed. So there's two kind of ways that you can do this. You can embed just using this link in your header, or in your style sheet you can import. I haven't really seen a difference in WordPress sites as far as the speed, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and load the standard version. So I'm going to copy that text, and then in my theme I'm going to go into the appearance editor, and this is where, like, if you're in a child theme, you're going to want to select your header. I was having some issues this morning with all the customizations that I've done with my child theme, and so I just wanted to minimize that headache. So I'm back to actually my parent theme. You can see my parent theme here. So what you need to do is in your header.php, you need to find where the closing head tag is and place that little link right above that. Okay? So again, I'm just copying and pasting that link. This link is basically importing from the Font Google API the Volcorn font, and then it's giving you the 400, 400i, 700, 700i. Those delineations are just normal and italic, normal and italic. The 700 and the 400 represent the font weight. 400 is generally a normal or lower. Sometimes there's what they call a light or a lighter. And then sometimes you'll see fonts with like a 300 or a 100. And that's basically just how wide the font is. The numbers are just like a scale of 100 to 1,000, but typically you'll find like 400, 700, 800 as your font weights. And again, those are here. And That's because I customized it with the bold 700, bold 700 italic, and the regular 400 italic. Okay. So another little bit of text that you need is the specify in CSS. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And I'm going to update that file. So I just want to show you, once I've updated, where in my source code that little bit of text goes. So I just refreshed my page, and we're going to look at my source code here. And the source code right there, we've got our link to our style sheet for our fonts. Okay. So now that I'm back here, I'm going to go to style.css. And once that page refreshes, I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and I need to look to see what this is. So let's do the inspect. Of course, that's going to come over here on my secondary monitor, but this line is an H1. Here's the story, that's an H1. The next one is an H2 and H3. So my H1 through H3 is what I'm going to style in this new Volcron font. Okay. So I'm going to come all the way down, and I'm just going to do H1, H2, H3. Curly bracket, and I'm going to change that. So right now all we're doing is we're changing the font family to Volcron. Okay. Hit update. Refresh that page. This font should change here. And now we're Volcron. And you know what? Let's just verify that again. Inspect. And let's bring the inspector over. Give 1 second. Inspect. Alright, what the world? It's not letting me. There we go. Alright. So if we come over here to our inspector, you'll see now my H1, H2, and H3 is now the Volcron font. Okay. Now I can go a step further, and I can say, okay, H1 font weight 700, H2 font weight 700. And then we could do, give 1 second. Oops. Sorry, I went to the wrong screen. I can do font style italic, and then H3 font weight 400. Okay. So again, we declare our font family once, and then the different variations. And once this is starts spinning the other way, we know that that page is saved. And we're just going to refresh. And so now we have our 700 italic and our 400. So hopefully that makes sense as far as Google fonts. The next thing is we're going to edit this page, and we're going to put in an image. And actually what I'll do is I'll do 3 images, that way you can see left, centered, and right, and how content floats around that. So I'm just loading in my home page with that content, and I'm just going to go ahead and insert some media. So in this paragraph, we'll insert our puppy photo on the right. We'll just do a medium. And then here we'll do puppy photo on the left. And here we'll do a puppy photo centered. Okay. Update. Once that page is saved, go ahead and refresh. All right, so what I'm seeing here is in my theme, I've got plenty of space. So let me actually switch over to Rebecca's theme. So let's go and look at what Rebecca has. Minimize some of this. So Rebecca had said the about page in hers. Yep. All right. So I can see. Okay. So Rebecca has some text here, and she's got an image, and it's bumped right up against. So let's go ahead and log in. Let's refresh there. And let's go ahead to our appearance editor. All right. So what I can do is I can go back into my inspect and get some of the information on this image. So this image here is in align right, and it looks like there's no style being applied to your image. Give me a second here. Oh, don't want that full screen. Come on. There we go. All right. Things keep jumping around on my second monitor. Sorry about that. All right, let's go back to inspect that. All right, so you can see here that your blog post image has padding on the top, padding on the bottom, but no padding all around. So let's do this. Let's go padding, and let's try what it looks like with a 40 pixel. Okay, so that gives you that good padding there. Maybe it's a little too much. That's not too bad. So that's padding. That'll give padding to every image because it's blog post image. It might actually be better to target the align right. And the reason why I say that is that the align right is basically the style that's appended to images that are to the right. So for this one, you can already inherit your blog post image class, CSS that's been written, and we could do padding left and just do that. So it keeps this corner flush over here, and then it keeps a space there. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy that from here. And then back in our style sheet, let's do that. Now, because I know that this is going to happen the same way if you do an image on the left, let's go ahead and do this and just change all those to left and that padding right to the padding left to right. That way, when we refresh this page, so let's get rid of that style sheet override that I made, and let's refresh that page. And now it should look good here. Yep. So we got a nice little padding there. There is a lot of it's gonna keep doing that, isn't it? Sorry, my Google wants to. All right, I need to be able to see that. Let's move this one over to my other. All right. My second monitor keeps wanting to make everything big. All right, here we go. So we still have this large padding here and here. Can kind of click those off to see, okay, maybe we don't need all that. That kind of pulls everything up a little bit more. But you can kind of figure out, based off of your design, what you're really looking for. Again, right now, if I refresh that page, that's going to refresh, and there's going to be that padding up there again. Okay. So it's all about the CSS, targeting those different things, adding the space that you need. Hope that helps. I believe that's it. Let me swing back over to my email. Yep. All right, I'll post this, and then if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment.